Around the world and across Nigeria, this is still Enterprise Morning on Enterprise Television, and on to our main conversation for today. Nigeria's leading labor unions on Wednesday discontinued talks for a new minimum wage with the federal government.
Yes, the question is why? Why did the cookie crumble after almost 1 long year of conversations to determine what the monthly pay for the Nigerian workers should be?
Well, the labor unions comprising the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress put the blame on what they called a ridiculous offer of 48,000 naira proposed by the federal government and 54,000 naira proposed by the organized private sector as a new minimum wage, respectively. The sources at the meeting told journalists that government did not provide any data to back up its proposal, unlike the private employers who, on the other hand, said none of their members pay less than 78,000 naira monthly.
Yes. Now, details of the meeting, as we have them, indicate that Labour presented first, pegging its demand at 615,000 naira, after which the private sector presented, pegging its offer at 54,000 naira. Later, the government proposed 48,000 naira. Well, that's where the story goes back to where we started.
Very true. And this bickering between the Labour, the government, it's becoming despicable, if you ask me. But of course, our guest is here, Pastor Tunji Abdulhamid. Thank you so very much, sir, for being around. Now, yes. So the quick question still borders around a minimum wage. The president said he was going to give Nigerians a decent minimum wage, something they could, go home with and feel happy for. But the question still remains: would Bola Ahmed Tinubu personified living amongst us, how much can he do with 48,000 naira? That is the question. If he was living amongst us, would 48,000 naira be enough for him and the family?
It will definitely do not be, because we know the kind of the president, the kind of president he is. He's a big man, so he cannot talk about. In fact, that you could have been asking, would that be enough for his last child who is not even working to do anything? That's the question I should be. I'm not saying he doesn't have a child that's not working. I'm saying, assuming he has a child that's not working as a last small one, at secondary school, would that be enough? Unfortunately, it's a fake promise as far as I'm concerned. The president in his campaign promised to give a labor a living wage. This, as far as I'm concerned, is not a living wage compared to the circumstance of grant. If this 40,000 naira were to be proposed in 2015 or 14, maybe I would say, okay, it's a fair deal in a way. But today, the government has policies that have been introduced by the government have taken Nigeria to another level. In other words, they have created a lot of hardship on the land and has raised the expenses being incurred by Nigerians. For instance, this first subsidy removal have increased the consumption of fuel by Nigerians and what you pay for the consumption. For instance, before the fuel subsidy removal, the per liter is 87,000 naira or 87 naira per liter. Also, I can't remember the actual price. And then it was taken from that 87 naira to like 600 something naira. So, and then for example, when you fill your tank with 15k before that, it's not like 60, 70k that you use to fill that tank, and for a week or so, it's over. So that has created additional expenses in your pocket. Recently, the government also introduced a tariff of electricity that is about 300% increase. So that has also created another burden on Nigerian citizens as to what to spend. In between these, there are a lot of taxes that have been introduced that people have been spending. So you now look at those things. Because of those policies, the school fees were also increased. Some other things were done, and the government promised that, look, we are going to do something to ameliorate this problem. But to date, we are still waiting for the student loan. We are still waiting for some other. They talk about poverty alleviation programs. We are waiting for them. The only thing I've seen that has even been stopped is the sharing. That are here, not even see. It is sharing of 5,000 naira or 10,000 naira to what they call vulnerables, which I don't believe is get to anybody, and it would change anything. So, looking at all these circumstances, the cost of transportation today is very high. So, if you are giving a worker 48,000 naira, per month. Let's even assume that he's using the 1,000 naira as transport per day.
Every day.
That would be how much? That would be like 30,000 naira
Yes.
to go to and come back. He will eat. He has children. He will pay house rent. He will have medical. Is there this and that are there. And it's not as if that the government make accommodation for free medical service for everybody. It's not as if there's a free education service for everybody. It's not as if so. These are not there. So if you are now giving me 48,000 naira, what are you saying? What are you expecting people to do with it? You are making people to look. You want to encourage corruption because people will look elsewhere to meet their needs, and that's why you see what we are seeing in this. I'm not trying to justify corruption. I will not behave like our senator Ali Dube, who is trying to justify corruption by saying that the money that's been stolen by people at National Assembly that have been accused that people are stealing money, that they are stealing money because of the people. That whenever they steal the money, they still spend it on the people. So I was sorry for our country that look, when I had the on national TV that you should not compare the corruption from the politician with other Nigerians. That Nigerians corruption is their own is for the people, even if they steal. The stealing is still for the people. There's people that will, because if you don't do that, if you don't go back to them and spend the money for them, you will not come back again. So in other words, it's about his own personal interest. It's not about Nigeria, and he's trying to justify stealing. It is like somebody who stole a goat in the market and they say, my father is hungry, so I need to see this goat, so I'll sell it and make money for us to be able to take care of a domestic needs. So for me, it's more than ridiculous. This 48,000 naira, it go below. I was not even expecting it. The government has even come down from its own role because initially before now, the government has introduced 35,000 which award. So if you add 35 plus 30, that is even 65. Right. The government is not even going to that level. It came down from 65 to 48.
Okay.
Yeah,
so Barrister, there's an argument around that's how the Yoruba man price in the market. So Yoruba man will tell you how much is this? Is going for 10 naira. So he priced 10 naira, then he goes from 10 naira to 8 naira. But that's a conversation for another day.
That's what Labour did by bringing out. Labour also brought up a ridiculous figure of 615,000. Even though the breakdown of that figure, you want to say yes, but looking at the reality on ground, it's not realistic. So so they also came with 600 something naira. But if I say I am selling this laptop for 600 something thousand naira, and you want to price it, is it to go back to 48,000 naira?
No. Okay, so Barrister, speak to why the government have steadfastly avoided elephants in the room. We see that Edo State is raising the ante. I think they've raised up to 70.
Yeah.
Yes, if history
Lagos State too.
To go by. Yes. So why do you think the federal government has decided to avoid the elephant in the room? Is it a case of not having the monies to pay, or not even having the will to pay? I like that you have, put a lot on the table, talking about subsisting reality. The prices of everything has soared, and we see that the federal government is being, allow me to use the word, insensitive with the labor unions. What is the real issues?
Yeah, the real issue here, as far as I'm concerned, is about priority. What I've seen here is that the priority of the government is not about the people. It's not about the welfare of the people. Because if you are talking about no money, if you can get money to buy luxury goods or cars for people who are National Assembly, people who are privileged, recently again, I'm not opposed that the judiciary, the judges of their salary have been increased from a very good increase in that regard. So the needs of those in the executives are also being met without any question, without any wala. So I want to see that priority. I will not say it's a lack of fund. It's lack of priority. The priority is not about the people. It's not about the welfare of the people. Particularly this government, their priority is about making money. It's about bringing in money, not to spend money for the way for the people. They just love the idea of bringing money in, introduce this and that, and so that will bring money to the government. I will not even be angry with that if that generation of money is being used for the benefit of the Nigerians. We are seeing the usage of that among us multiple taxes and all those things that are collecting. I will have to say, okay, well, at least we are seeing the results, but we're not seeing the results. So for me, it's about priority. The priority is not about the welfare of the people, and it's bad that it's contrary to the constitution of Nigeria. Section 14 of the constitution says the primary purpose of government is security and welfare of the people. So welfare should be the priority. I'm not saying this is not to say that I'm in support of labor to an extent, because this thing we are fighting, that we're talking about, this minimum we are talking about, is not for the generality of Nigerians. It's not. It is not for the generality of Nigerians. It's for only people who work with government. And because even though they will talk about the private sectors, would they force private sector to pay that money? They don't have it, or would they prefer to have people lose their job because they can't pay the minimum wage? So the one that is guaranteed, even if it's agreed, is out of the government. That look, this is the government. They can. So Labour is only fighting, and I'll not blame Labour because that's their own responsibility. They are fighting for the protection of their members, and that's what they are. And that's mistake Nigerians are making. Most times we blame Labour for the generality of the problems in Nigeria. I will not blame Labour. Rather, we should be blaming the National Assembly. National Assembly are the people who elected to represent us. They are our voice. They should be speaking for us, not Labour. Labour has a limited
scope.
They have, except we want to enlarge it for them, but without unconstitutionally. Because as far as I'm concerned, their role is not for everybody. And you can see what they are discussing now. They are not even talking about people who are not working. Because you know when it comes, people who are not working will not get it. So it's only limited to. So the people that should be fighting for the generality of Nigeria are the members of the National Assembly that have been elected to represent us. And that's the job of the National Assembly members, is to represent, make law, and do other things, and do oversight functions. They are lacking in that capacity and that responsibility of representing us. They are not representing us well. Rather than represent us and fight on behalf of the masses, they either support the executive and be together in their own personal interest. So Nigerians should be the anger that they used to give to Labour, saying these Labour are not serious, these people are this and that, should be geared towards the National Assembly. They should hold them to account. They are our representative. We should be asking them questions. They should be the one in front of this fight. That look, the economic situation in this country is bad. Government, the executive, you must do something to ensure that the environment is enabled. People are suffering. But rather, they see themselves as a handbag of the executive.
All right.
They are not seeing themselves as an arm of government that is put in place to check and ask questions from the executive. So until we also realize that these are the people that we should be held responsible, we may not be able to get the actual result. Labour has a limited, I pity Labour. They have a limited scope, and then sometimes when you have a government that's not willing, Labour will just look like a child play because they won't be able to achieve anything. They'll just talk to happen, and then they can do. In fact, if they call up strike today now, after 1, 2, 3 days, Nigerians will also be calling Labour. What kind of Labour it is? They are making us suffer while we are at home. You know, those are the issues here. So they have a difficult job to do. I'm not trying to defend them. I'm just trying to say that look, even if Labour is able to get this thing that it wants to get, it's just for a few percentage of Nigerians, not for the generality of Nigeria. So if you want to get a general benefit for the welfare of Nigeria, we should hold the National Assembly responsible to ask questions on their behalf.
All right. So speaking of holding the National Assembly responsible to speak for Nigerians, I want to believe the type of National Assembly we have today is sufficiently influenced by the executive. And talking about the antecedent of the honcho in this conversation, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, while he was still, taking care of Lagos, he was known as a philanthropist. Someone who was readily there to give out as much as he can. Now he is in charge of running Nigeria. If Bola Ahmed Tinubu decides today, this minute, that, hey, minimum wage should be this amount, I want to believe everyone would key into that. What is stopping him at this point, knowing the problem and the challenges Nigerians are going through? Why do you think we have a sudden change in the personality of someone who was known so much as a philanthropist, as a giver, as an influencer? What is happening?
I beg to agree with you, or I beg to say that, look, the philanthropic toga of Mr. President is not because he wants to develop the state or the country, or wants to better the welfare of the people. It's to promote his structure. How many people are those money, those philanthropic role that you say he was playing? Was it being given towards the masses, or people who are loyal to him, or people who are in his political caucus, or people who wants to use to achieve political gain? So for me, those what we call philanthropists or whatever is a political gain. Is to win support of people around them and to be able to be in control and in charge. So I don't want to agree that that effort of is a man who gives money. He's not giving his personal money. He's giving, and what we're talking about here is not his personal money. We're talking about the state money. So he must look at it that way. And what I need them to do is to prioritize their needs, because you can see the 15 trillion naira road, as far as I'm concerned, is not a priority for now. I'm not saying it's not necessary, but it's not our priority for now. We have a lot of things on ground that have not covered that will give maximum benefit to the people than that one that will not even see the light of the day at the end of the day. That will not even go beyond the Lekki or Dangote's refinery area. So for me, as far as I'm concerned, it's about getting the priority right. It's not as if nobody will tell me that we don't have the money, and I won't take that. We have the money. Priority of how we spend the money is our problem. Having money is not about the number of money. If you have 10,000 naira and you are able to judiciously use that 10,000 naira, it will look like if you have 1 million naira. But what we're seeing today is that we are not usually using it. When we are buying 160 million car for one person, when Nigerians are suffering, when people are not able to pay 1,000 naira school fees, and you are buying one, so it's our priority. You are buying yards of billions of naira. You are buying SUV cars for the first lady's office when Nigerians are suffering. So it's about priority. It's not about if anybody tells me we don't have money, we should manage. No. What we should change is the priority. The government should change the priority of their spending. They should be focused on the people. This government is operating like a business. I'm talking about the government. I'm not saying, because people will say, no, we should operate government like a business. No. If you want to operate government like a business, people will suffer. Because in business, their own target is profit. Yeah. So they don't care whether the staff are collecting money or not, whether the salary is too small or it's too big. As long as money is, that's why you see our banks announce that they have billions of why the staff are complaining that there's no the salary is low, and they will come and say we are breaking 600 and something billion as profit for the year. That's the mentality. So if the government is using that mentality to run government, we will suffer because the mentality of those people in business is to maximize profit. So you have to balance it. You have to look at the way of making money, and you have to look at the welfare of the people. So welfare of the people is to be the priority of the government, not about the money itself they want to generate. So until we have that right, we know that, look, the essence of us in government is to make our people better, to make the life of our people better, we'll get the right results. So we need to get our priority right.
Right. And Chinyere, this reminds me, years back, I think that was during Goodluck Ebele Jonathan time. We had Nigerians in diaspora coming back home in droves, because at that time the dollar was about $1 to 80 naira to 100 naira. So people in the diaspora saw no need to suffer.
Right.
You understand? And they started coming back home. Then the middle class was this big. Right now, the middle class is no longer there.
Right.
You know, and this begs the question, if really, just like the barrister did say, if the government of the day see running of Nigeria as a business, as opposed to welfare of those people.
Henry, it's with brutal discourtesy, I would say that this government is, swiftly losing social graces. Looking at the policies of the government, I mean, anti-people policies, it's a pity because, I mean, there's always a second tenure, and then most times the second tenure is chiefly predicated on the performance from the first tenure. If we see that, if what we see now is already happening, in the first tenure, then I wonder what the long game of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be.
Yes, we wish him well, and we pray that Nigerians, just like the president would say, would come out in droves in the next election and do the needful.
If this one will be 2026, that what's it called? Which will go beyond the 150. This one will be 2026. Yeah, unfortunately, we are in 2020. What now?
24.
So we still have 2 years more to go. So don't wait for 2 years more to raise this question again.
Okay.
Of course, just like Barrister did say, everything he does is for gains and not for the welfare of the people. Well, this is just about the time we have for our discussion and conversation today. I'd love to say thank you to Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid for always being around.
Thank you so much for coming around
to make sense of our conversation, and also thank you for keeping a date with us. Please do well to visit our website www.enterprisetvnews.com, like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Ikwebike.
And I'm Chinyere Igweobi.
On behalf of the entire team of Enterprise Television, thank you so very much. We'll see you tomorrow.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.